Wheat. That morning, Bardo tied her shoes, put on her hat, and shut the door behind her. The desire to wander on her own to new places came especially when she stopped enjoying the aroma of raspberry tea with honey or the presence of her loved ones. Often, at that time, completely unconsciously, she was filled with readiness for the adventures waiting for her in the silence of these new places. And most often, she reached places where her friends' footsteps could not reach, even though many of them had walked this path thousands of times before. At first, as many times before, she had no idea why today, why towards the nook of a cozy cottage, and why to go at all. Unless it's because of Leo, who recently told her that the aunt's way of spending time with him doesn't match his perception of spending time together. But she wasn't sure about that either, because how can you understand something you have no idea about? She went, too, because the voice inside she knew was undoubtedly calling for a way out. Dispersing of piling up thoughts is the most efficient way through the thickness of grass and leaves which hide the path to our goals, she said to herself. Moreover, it's good to do something we know well. And her lonely journeys she knew perfectly well, just like talking to herself to be heard when no one is watching. There's been a lot of weeds and grass on my road lately, she sighed. She sat down next to the nook of a cozy cottage where there was no living creature around on site or any other sounds familiar to her. There were only fields of high wheat and rye. Here and there you could also see oats, corn and grass sown for the needs of nearby farms. And then, from time to time, only forests were interrupted by the view of flowing waters. So, she asked herself, sobbing quietly, am I a misfit? Everyone is different and fits something or someone else, and above all, fits our true self. The aunt, confused and a bit frightened, began to look around for the voice she had heard. But she saw no one except blades of wheat. After a while, certain that she must have misheard it, she began to think aloud about the answer. So, what or who do I fit in with, if at all? Does this mean that I have to look for someone or something now? The willingness to search is up to you, the voice replied again. We are different, and fitting in depends on many things. It depends, for example, on where and who sowed you, how and with what you were watered, and what you did about its watering or lack of it. It may also depend on whether you like the place you had to grow in, and whether and how you adapted to it. But said the aunt, looking around simultaneously, in this grove I was and I still am alone. In growing, if it is so, just for a while we can be alone. Because if it happened that you didn't notice the same grains around you, there are, or were probably other grains and grasses. even if they were quite far away. Their company is important, and just try to notice it. Then they will also become closer to you and therefore more suitable for you. And check with yourself whether the feeling of being alone is still true. And the most important thing of all is, the voice continued, to make you feel like you're fitting into your true self. This feeling will let you fit in with everything and everyone. All of that is still very overwhelming for me, said the ant. I would love to grow from the start again, even if there were grasses and thistles next to me and I was a grain. It would be much easier for me to feel at home among the blades of wheat. My misfit doesn't go away. And how can you be sure that being a weed would be good for you? Well, if everyone was similar, they would think and behave similarly. Then it's safe and easy. It gets easier, but not always. I also think that many wheat grains, weeds and grasses feel the same way you do, even though they have grown among their own ones. Times like that just come. You have to experience it and see what it's like. You've also probably got stuck at the root level. It matters. But now, the most important thing is the spike itself. It grew up great. It is at this level that we encounter a sense of fitting in, even though each element of the structure played a role of its own. Finally, abandon the husk by the strength of your own decision. And don't judge weeds too rational. You see their flowers, but don't forget about their roots. So, focus on what is now, and the misfit will disappear. I promise you. The voice said it more and more softly. Today, the nook of the cozy cottage seemed unusually out of place for the ant. Even the wind was taking on enormous speed. Bardo knew very well that after sitting for a long time, it's good to get up without asking herself in order to get the power to grow again. So she stood up, adjusted her shoes, put on her hat, and started walking back towards the house. From the distance, she looked intently at the wheat fields that swayed back and forth. So, who was I talking to? She wondered. The swinging of the crops was probably due to the clouds, which have not given up lately. However, you could already see that the sun was just around the corner and would soon peek through the clouds into the sky. The first rays will soon appear, and in a moment they will light up the Bardo's path back home. It will also get warmer again. So, how many clouds must disappear from the sky? She asked herself aloud. And so, she started counting them. 1 cloud, 2 clouds, 3 of them, 4, 5, 6, 7 clouds, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of them, 16, 17 clouds, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 of them, 23 clouds, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 of them, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33 of them, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41 clouds, 42, 43 of them, 44, 45, 46, 47 of them, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53 of them, 54 clouds, 55, 56, 57 of them, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67 clouds, 68 of them, 70, 71, 72 of them, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87 of them, 88, 89 clouds, 90, 91 of them, 92, 93 clouds, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98,